Well, welcome to the Columbus GreenSpot Conversations webinar series. I'm excited that you're able to join us today. Today we have a great topic regarding COTA's initiatives this year, as well as just like how to ride the bus. But before we get into that, I wanted to give a little background on the city's environmental programs and GreenSpot and what just are kind of what we have in mind when we develop environmental programs, or really any program. We want to make sure that there are three things moving together in order to have sustainability. One of those is economy, one of those is people or equity, and the other is environment. When we have those three pillars going in the same direction, that's when we have sustainability, and that's when we really thrive as a community. And so that's what we achieve. Those are the lenses that we use when looking at programs and creating new programs. So many of y'all already know about GreenSpot. It's a program City started. We inspire, educate, and recognize households, businesses, community groups, and neighborhoods that adopt sustainable practices. And they choose from a menu of options. It's free to be a member. It's free to join. You can see we have over 23,000 GreenSpot members. As long as you're in Franklin County or surrounding county, you could become a GreenSpot member. So I want to give a shout out to our members for doing all that they are doing to protect and conserve our natural resources. So these are some conservative numbers, but these are some of the savings that our GreenSpot members have collectively seen. I won't read them. You can see them on the screen there, but we're very proud of our members and what they do. And that, of course, is the famous deer. I believe it is on the Rich Street Bridge looking over the Scioto River. I think there's 3 or 4 of those bronze deers. But if you don't follow us on social media, please do. We post tips on how to go green, upcoming events. We share a lot of what our partners put out as well on going green. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So check that out. But today, we have a conversation with our friends at COTA. We have Devyani Puranik, is the new Mobility Development Program Director at COTA. Her primary focus is leading high-impact coordination and change management on specific initiatives related to the planning, scheduling, and delivery of transit mobility services for COTA customers. Welcome, Devyani. We also have Claire Jennings, who is the Mobility Program Manager at the Central Iowa Transit Authority, also known as COTA, and she oversees COTA's travel training program. Welcome, Claire. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I will bring up your PowerPoint. Give me half a second. I always joke, you think I would be an expert at this point when it comes to using WebEx, but we're all learning, right? Life is all about learning. Let's get this in the full screen mode. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. So Devyani, if you want to take over, just let me know when you want me to advance the slides.
Yes, thank you so much, David, and thank you for having us today. I'm really excited to share all about us, COTA overview. I know we said COTA initiatives, and we have so much going on with Linkus and other projects. And I think, David, we will have to come back with more conversations about those specific topics. But today, for my part, I decided to focus on our organization. And just to give the overview of who we are. And meat of the presentation is with Claire. I think it's very interesting work that she does, and she really helps our community to learn about COTA more. But I can take the first part and begin with the next slide. So our mission, if you go back one, is very simple, is to move every life forward. And I know when people think of COTA is a bus organization, a bus company, as we are called multiple times, but it's way beyond that than that. It's not just transit, but it's everything that goes with it. And looking at the next slide, our mission is to be that uh, provide mobility solutions to Central Ohio, and that goes beyond providing bus service. Of course, that's our bread and butter. That's our main focus with our fixed route. But we are also looking at more innovative mobility solutions to go up to our vision of moving every life forward. And how do we connect people, community to job opportunities, healthcare, education. It's at the core at what we do. Next, please. Our COTA Board of Trustees is made out of 12 members and they represent different communities. So they guide us through all our initiatives. Like I said, Link Us is a big initiative and it's very interregional, intercollaborative, governmental, private, collaborative initiative. And all of our board members help us and guide us through that process. Next, please. So some more about COTA. We serve region of about 562 square miles, serve more than 1.4 million residents. And if you all are watching news, then a region will be over 3 million by 2050. We are already exceeding that projection in these upcoming years. So we will be a big region, and public transit is going to be very, very important when we get there. We serve all of Franklin County, but also portions of Delaware, Fairfield, Licking, and Union counties within our charter member communities boundaries. Like I said, we are governed by 12-member board of trustees, and our new focus, in addition to what we have been doing and what we have been doing great, is on connecting technology systems to 5 adjacent county transit systems. And how are we connecting to people outside of Franklin County? How do we make it seamless for them to come to downtown, or people who are going out um, in the region? So that's our new focus. Our ridership, and there are upcoming slides I can talk about that more, but just to give you highlight, in 2019 we reached about 19 million rider passenger trips per year. In 2020, obviously pandemic hit and we went to 10 million. And in 2021, despite of so many different challenges and different restrictions, we are still at 8 million passenger trips. Next, please. At Team Quota, we are about 1,200 employees, out of which half are operators. I will say that we all are really facing labor shortage, and it's big here at Quota. We Our operators, we are down by about 100 operators, so we are really struggling with how we provide quality, essential, convenient service to our customers with available resources. And that's effect of pandemic, not just on us, but all over supply chain and transportation industry in general. So that is affecting on how we are looking at our service for this year and maybe even early next year. That being said, we are trying to be very innovative in what we can deliver and trying to be more reliable and at least promise to be when we say we will be there. So that's our approach for how we are dealing with pandemic. And I'm sure we will get over this hump, but currently resource shortage is a big piece of how we are looking at our service. Something relevant to GreenSpot Columbus, our fleet is about within our fleet, there are about 235 vehicles are eco-friendly hybrids or compressed natural gas vehicles. We pledge to take off all our diesel vehicles by 2025. We have 2 electric buses already, and we will have more electric buses coming in. So looking into electric infrastructure and how that looks like for upcoming years is also one of our initiatives. Next, please. So within our team, we are, it's in transportation industry, it's a little bit very hard to employ diverse group of team members, but we are proud that we are over, I want to say we are now close to 40% female employees, and it was voted as best company for women to advance. So COTA has been a great organization to work for with really diverse team that we work with. Next, please. Quota is supported mainly through sales tax that we get, and then definitely through federal and state grants. COVID funding was a big piece last year. Passenger fares, although it's a significant amount, that's one of our smaller wedges, as you can see in our pie chart, but our main revenue stream is through sales tax. Next, please. Like I said, we continue to monitor our ridership, and it's very, very important for us to know who our customers are, where do they want to go, how do travel patterns look like, are we really connecting people to where they want to go? So ridership is a big measure of what we look at every single day. So our fixed route ridership number, like I said, in 2021 was about 8.8 million riders. That's more than half compared to 2019 ridership. And again, pandemic has a big impact on overall industry and also the ridership. Our average weekly ridership is 170,000. That's a big number for Columbus, and so many people rely on our service. And we want to do better. We continue to do better, but currently challenged with resource availability. We also provide COTA mainstream paratransit service, and Claire will talk more about that. But we provided 100, around 200,000. Sorry, I can't read the number. 200,000 trips on mainstream. And COTA Plus is our innovative service. It's very similar to Uber and Lyft experience. We have it currently in 3 different zones, and we provided close to 70,000 trips on COTA Plus rides. Next, please. Um, Whatever we do at the core of our service is equity, diversity, and inclusion. It's a big center circle that you can look at, and that is part of our strategic plan. Along with that, there are 4 main pillars that we continuously look at and strive to improve on whatever we do based on these guidance from strategic plan. So with that, I think that's my last slide. Next is Claire. I'll hand it off to you, Claire.
Is this still you though? I don't think this is my slide. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No
No, like I
worries.
said, yeah, no, we look at ridership and who our customers are. Next, please, David. I apologize.
No problem.
Just to get a sense of who we are serving, and that's why we really depend on data. Who our customers are we meeting them where they need us? And data is a big piece of that. Just population, households, uh, jobs, how many jobs we serve, what is the age group of customers. And we know that as we get older, it's really hard for people to drive, and that's where we really need to step up and serve people. So data driven organization is we really want to be, and that's where we are striving to be. Um, and we have really consciously have a good team, strategic team that looks at data on a single day to make sure that we are doing where community needs us. Next, please. And just to give you a sense, in comparison to Franklin County adults and where quota customers are, uh, our our customers tend to be 60% male and 42% female, and you can see here the division of different backgrounds in terms of who our customers are, and that was the light blue column is before COVID-19, and dark blue shows us the data for after or during COVID-19, how we stand. It's still very similar type of service, so we really know which people depend on our service and really need public transit to go to places, run errands, go to educational institutions, hospitals, and so it's very important for us to keep track of who our customers are. Next, please.
Okay.
All right,
This
now
is
it's
me.
clear.
Yeah,
Thank you, Claire.
no problem. And you can go ahead and skip this one. This is the duplicate. Okay, so Deviani already gave a really good overview of how big our reach is in the county. This is a map of our service, of our fixed route lines. So our core COTA services are those fixed route lines, those big vehicles you see. We've got 3 different types of lines that we have. We have standard, frequent, and rush hour, and those rush hour lines only operate in the mornings and in the evenings. All of our buses have ramps, and they can kneel if you have a mobility device or any mobility issues to get on and off the vehicle. They all have free Wi-Fi. They all have bike racks. combining, I'm sure you've talked about this with the GreenSpot especially, but combining biking and busing is like such a powerful tool to really be able to get a lot more places in our community. So, you know, if you can bike and bus and do it in a combination. Our standard fares are $2 for all of our types of routes. We now, our transfers are omnidirectional. So previously your transfer only continued in the same direction that you were traveling, but now you pay a fare, pay that $2 fare, and it's basically like unlimited bus rides for those 2 hours once you once you put in your $2 or swipe your ticket. Children 4 years and under have no fare. We've got discounted passes I'm going to talk about more in a second for $1. And our 31-day pass, our monthly pass, is $62 for the base fare. Okay, go ahead and move forward. I just tried to hit the down button and that didn't work. So our main discount fares are for veterans, people with Medicare card holders, anyone on Social Security disability, people over the age of 65, people with a disability. We've got forms you can fill out that you can get online or come in and fill out at our Customer Experience Center downtown at 33 North High. If you have a disability, part of that needs to be filled out by a licensed medical professional. Go ahead and go to the next slide. We have a new expansion to our discounted fare program, which we're calling the Income Assistance Pilot Program. It's a pilot that started in March of this year and is running through September. And we're offering half-price fares to people with who participate in different income assistance programs through the county or the state. So if you take part in any of the listed on the slide listed programs, you can bring in proof of your participation in these programs to our Customer Experience Center, again at 33 North High, and we can get you set up to get access to that discounted fare program. So that if you have any of these discounted fare programs, if you're eligible for any of that, then you can get eligibility for fare for $1, and then our monthly passes is only $31 a month. So if you want to continue. We also launched in November a new way of paying for your rides on COTA for our fixed route. We partnered with a transit app, which is a mobile app where not only can you figure out how to get around on COTA, you can figure out your routes, but you can also set up an account with COTA on the transit app and start paying your fares that way. What's really great about we also, if you don't have a smartphone or don't feel comfortable using a smartphone in this way, we also have smart cards available for people, and they're cards that you can load money on. I'll talk about that in a second, but you can use that to pay your fare as well. What's really great about this is not only can you add the discounted pass program, so you're a member of that, we can make sure that that's loaded onto your account, but you get access to fare capping, which means COTA knows how often you're riding, and we're going to make sure you're always going to get the best fare possible, and you're not going to pay more than what is the equivalent of a day pass or a monthly pass as the time goes on. You want to go to the next slide, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so fare capping. Basically, we know when you're riding, if you're using a smartphone, if you're using the transit app or you're using a smart card, you don't need to get paper transfers anymore. Your account will know that when you used it to pay a fare, and you'll be able to use it again without using a paper transfer. It's also going to know if you've ridden it 3 times in a day. The first time you're going to pay $2. The second time you're going to pay $2. The third time you ride, it's going to charge you 50 cents because that's what our day pass costs. And after that, if you ride it any further, you're not going to get charged anymore. And that works the same within a calendar month. So at the beginning of the month, you're using the smart card or the transit app to get to work every day, and you're paying your fare as you're going to work, and you're paying your fare as you're going home. Once you've paid $62 of fare that month, we know that, and we're like, great, you just bought a monthly pass for this month. You're good for the rest of the month, and every time you ride, you won't be charged any further. What's great about this is that you don't ever have to know ahead of time to get a day pass or have the money ahead of time to get a monthly pass. If you end up buying a monthly, previously, if you end up buying a monthly pass and say you lost it, you would be out your $62 and we wouldn't be able to replace it for you. But if you lose your smart card or if something happens to your phone, we can transfer all that information to a new smart card or a new account, and your money hasn't gone anywhere. So, and also if you end up buying a monthly pass, a paper pass before, and you end up not needing to use it that frequently, you're out that money, but now you're always just paying for exactly what you're using, and you're going to make sure you get the best rate. Okay, go ahead and go forward. So you can access it, like I said, by setting up an account with the transit app, or you can get a smart card. The smart cards are available at our Customer Experience Center at 33 North High Street. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And you can add funds in a couple of different ways. On the app itself, you can add a credit card and add funds that way. With the app or the smart card, you can add funds through a website, passes.cota.com. You can create an account if you're using a smart card, add funds that way. You can also link it to your transit account and add funds that way. You can take cash to one of our retail partners. We're still setting up a network of retail partners, but we have a couple, including Dollar General, where you can bring in your app or your smart card and they'll scan it and you can hand them cash to add to your account. You can also bring cash into our Customer Experience Center, which is similar to what a lot of people are used to today. You can go ahead and move forward. So the transit app, like I said, it not only can you pay your fare, but also will show you, it'll locate where you are and show you all the nearest transit lines to you, and you can search locations by addresses. You can figure out when you want to arrive by or when you want to depart by, and figure out how you want to get from point A to point B. It also includes information about the KOGO bikes, Lyft, and Uber. Keep moving. And this is just a detail of like giving you information about how to get from what to look for when you're putting in a route. It's going to tell you when to leave, how to catch your bus on time, and where it's going to pick you up and where it's going to drop you off. You can keep going. Okay, so that's me. David mentioned earlier that I oversee our travel training program. Our travel training program is really awesome because it is available for anyone. It's available for individuals or groups, and we work with you as an individual or your group to really figure out like what you want to know about COTA. We can tailor it to your needs and to your geography. It's a way of getting a hands-on experience to COTA Services with friendly people. It's, we're kind of like training wheels for bus riding or any of our services. It's a way of instilling confidence in our customers, and we also will teach you more about how to use that fare payment system if it's confusing. So we go over how to choose the correct bus, how to find your route, and some common sense rules and tips. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I paused. That was a good idea though. Okay, so our bike racks on all of our buses. Like I said before, biking and busing is a super powerful combination. And we have space on every bus for 2 bikes on the racks out front. What I like to tell people when I'm doing travel trainings, if they're interested in biking and busing, is to make sure that you always have like good eye contact with the driver when the bus approaches, to make sure that they know that you have a bike that you want to get on that bus as well. So, it's important. They're driving a very large vehicle, that they know what your intentions are. But using the rack is really, it looks a little daunting, but it's actually quite easy. There's instructions on it. You just pull it down. You end up opening up something that will go over and hold your bike in place on the wheel. You want to make sure that you don't have anything loose that might fall off. So any like bags or anything you might want to bring in on the bus with you. And then when you leave, instead of leaving through the back of the bus, you want to make sure you leave from the front and remind the bus driver again that you got to get your bike off the bus. Okay, go ahead. Another thing to know is that we have all these park and ride locations all over the county. So if you are a little bit further out, or if you're in one of our surrounding counties but need to come into Columbus, we have park and rides that will help you get closer into downtown. Parking's expensive. Gas is expensive. You might not want to sit in traffic getting into your office job downtown, perhaps. So if you might be able to use one of these park and ride locations. So basically we have free parking at any of these locations, and then you can hop on a bus to come in. Continue. Okay, so one of my favorite things is the texting trick, which is what I like to call it. So every bus stop has a number assigned to it. So you can see in the picture here, the top of the bus sign, the stop sign is a number, a 4-digit number. So that number gives you a lot of information if you know what to do with it. So you can actually text that number to 95292. If you do that, you're going to get a text back with all of the upcoming arrivals to that stop for all of the different lines that visit that stop, but they're going to be the next couple arrivals for every line that visits that stop. I like to use this all the time. Instead of checking the transit app, I will just text the bus stops that are nearest to my house. I've got 2 different lines near my house, and then I can decide which one is going to work better for me to get to downtown. So I just think it's a really nice thing to know about, because even if you don't need to have a smartphone for this to work, it's just a text. You just need to be able to accept texts back. But if you don't want to do this on your smartphone and you know the transit stop number, you also can plug that into our website at COTA.com, and it's going to show you all of that information as well. I just think it's a little handier on your cell phone when you're on the go. Okay, continue. I also want to mention that our zoo bus is back up in session. We are about to start service for 7 days a week, starting this holiday week. And it's a great way of getting to and from the zoo, excuse me. It runs from downtown all the way out to the zoo, and it connects a couple places at a couple of park and rides as you head towards Dublin. What's great about it is that you get $3 admission to the zoo and $10 off a Zoombezi Bay ticket. And as a plus for me, I hate the parking lot at the zoo. So you get to miss the most unappetizing part of the zoo, which is that giant parking lot. So anyway, we're running it until October 31st, although we will be back to only weekend routes for that starting in after Labor Day. Go ahead and continue. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our mainstream services as well, which is our paratransit service that Devyani mentioned earlier. Go ahead and continue. So what is paratransit? So paratransit is our service that is our service for people with disabilities that are unable to use our fixed route service, so in the county. So anyone that might be functionally unable to use our fixed route lines for a variety of reasons. If this is not something that is dictated by a specific diagnosis, there's a whole bunch of reasons that you might not be able to use our fixed route lines. Go ahead and continue. So to get access to the service, you have to have eligibility. You have to show that you have to be given eligibility for it. So it's not based on a diagnosis. Like I said, you fill out an application, which is partially filled out by a medical professional, and then we interview you and we figure out whether or not you're able to navigate the system on your own, or if you might not be able to reach a bus stop. It's all about, whether or not you are functionally able to access our regular bus system. Go ahead and continue. So if you think that someone or maybe you might be eligible for mainstream, you can go to our website at cota.com/mainstream or call us at 614-275-5828 to get an application sent to you. We also have an orientation that goes over how the program works for people once they get access to it. Go ahead and continue. So our regular mainstream service is a shared ride origin to destination service, which means we come to your house, or we come to where you are and pick you up and take you to where you need to go. It's a $3.50 flat rate for one-way trip. It parallels our fixed route service. So this is a way of making sure that our fixed route service is accessible to everyone. So our main core mainstream service, you have to start and end your trip within 3/4 of a mile of a transit line. And the times mirror the transit lines that you're close to. So if you are close to a rush hour line, you would only be able to get access to it during rush hour, those same lines. It's a shared ride, so there might be more people on the vehicle with you. People might get picked up on your way. Yeah, so that's how that works. And go ahead and go to the next slide. We also have an on-demand mainstream system, which started in 2019, and it is a way for us to expand the locations that we are able to serve with paratransit. So it is a sort of an expansion of what we do now. You don't need to be near a bus stop where you start or where you end. So it provides service throughout the county, but it's a little bit more expensive. It's $5 for the first 5 miles and then $1 for every additional mile. But it runs throughout the county. It's on demand. You can book a ride up to an hour in advance, and it's a private ride. But again, point to point. So we're going to come pick you up and drop you off right where you need to go. Okay, go ahead and continue on. The last thing I want to talk about is our COTA Plus service, which Devyani mentioned a little bit in her part of her presentation. This is our micro transit system that works in a couple of different zones throughout Franklin County. It launched in 2019, and we've been expanding it over the pandemic. Go ahead and continue on. So right now we have zones in Westerville, Grove City, and the South Side, and we also have a bus stop to bus stop bus on demand program in the northeast part of the county. So it's our first microtransit, which if you don't work in transit might not mean anything to you, but it's basically a way for us to expand our service to people throughout the county or in these different zones. But it's a way for us to expand our service and get our vehicles in smaller places. So our vehicles for COTA Plus are a little bit smaller than our big buses. And they make it so that we can bring people further out into the county. It operates kind of as a corner-to-corner service, so you might not get picked up at your right where you're standing. You might need to walk to the end of the block to get the ride. But then the base rate is $3 a ride, so you can get picked up and then dropped off to another location. While this evolved from us trying to figure out like how do we make the first mile of everyone's trip and the last mile to the bus stop and from the bus stop to home or their destination, how do we make that easier for people so they can access our big fixed route lines? So if you are actually connecting from one of our bus stops, there is no fare on the COTA Plus. So if you take a bus up to Westerville and connect to COTA Plus from there, the COTA Plus part of your ride is going to be free because you've already paid fare once. So that's a really nice thing to know in terms of like if you need to get to a job or to school in one of these zones, it's a way of getting you even closer to where you need to go than maybe our fixed route can. We have an app for this that's different from the transit app. It's called COTA Plus. If you're not comfortable with using an app, you can also set up an account by calling 614-308-4400. We have a lot more information on our COTA.com/COTA Plus page as well. But I'm going to go through maps of some of our zones as well. Go ahead and continue. So Grove City was actually our first zone. It was about half the size when we launched it in 2019. Currently, we operate Monday through Fridays, 5:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we've expanded it to include all of Grove City as well as the village of Urban Crest. And you can see a whole bunch of places that are included in this location. So all of these COTA Plus zones are it's zone based, so you can only start and end your COTA Plus ride within this zone. But it's a really great way, again, of like connecting people from bus lines to job centers, because we don't serve all of Grove City or all of this area. It's a way of us extending our service to a lot more people in the county. We also have some special events coverage. You want to go ahead and continue? And the Westerville service area is, oh, actually, so for both Grove City has a little island, which is the Southside Park and Ride, which is off of the 8, above 270 right there. That you can take a bus there to, or even drive into the Park and Ride and then take a COTA Plus into Grove City. And Westerville also has a couple of islands. So we have the city of Westerville right now. It's just the city boundaries. And then we also include Polaris and the IKEA Top Golf locations. So to get people to and from jobs. But again, you know, you can see a park and ride right in the middle of there. The operation times for Westerville mirror Grove City, and they also include some special events coverage. Go ahead and go to the south side. Now, the south side area is different than the other two because it's a part of the city of Columbus. There's a lot more bus lines that run in there, but there's a lot of other places that you can go to now with COTA Plus. So you can see that it sort of is below 70. It's not as easy to describe the barrier or the location of where this zone is, but it's basically from 70 to Groveport Road and a more or less Front Street all the way to Alum Creek and a little bit more than that. And so there are a lot more places for you to connect to from bus lines here, but again, a really great extension of our service in this zone. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Now our on-demand zone in the Northeast is slightly different, where the previous 3 zones are all $3.50 or $3 a ride. The on-demand zone in the Northeast is bus stop to bus stop. So you have to be at a bus stop to get picked up, and it's going to drop you off at another bus stop. This was put into place at the beginning of the pandemic when we closed a lot of our lines up here, and we wanted to make sure that people could still get to their jobs while everything else was sort of getting shut down. So it actually operates, like I said, differently, and it also it mirrors the cost of our fixed route service as well. So it's only $2 a ride instead of 3, but you also can use the app for this as well. So you can see it's sort of a snake-like looking thing in our northeast part of the county. So it operates 7 days a week, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, and you continue on. And then that's all I have. So I didn't do a full how to ride the bus because I wanted to talk a little bit more about the bunch of different services that we have here at COTA and a bunch of things that have changed in the last 2 years that you might not know about because it's been the last 2 years and things have been a lot. So I wanted to go over those things. If anyone is ever interested in travel training for themselves or anyone they might know or any groups that they have, if you have anyone returning to work and you want to talk about how COTA could be an option for people getting there, would love to have you reach out. There's information on our website under travel training. We'd love to work with you and your groups or you as a person to help you figure out how to use COTA. So anyway, that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Claire. Thank you, Deviani. If there are any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat and we will get them. I had a couple questions. So with the pandemic, obviously that really impacted ridership. When do you think ridership will bounce back to those pre-pandemic levels?
$1 million question.
I know, right? If we had crystal ball and if someone told us when that will happen, it will really help us. But David, it's a great question. I mean, ridership is a big piece of everything that we do. Um, that being said, we also are in touch with several of our peer transit agencies, and they're in a similar boat where we are. There are other issues more than transit, the safety and all of those discussions are also, affecting ridership. Just from COVID safety to other incidences that we have been hearing in the media too. So there are a lot of other external points that are affecting ridership, but I am going to say that despite of all of that, 2021 we still had 8.8 million people who needed our service. So we continue to monitor it. We really continue to be that data driven organization to see what is affecting our ridership and how we can improve in those areas. But like I said, our current situation with labor shortage, we had to reduce service for May, and we even have to reduce it for September service change. So that we know that that will impact our riders, our customers. But we are also looking at other innovative, maybe creative solutions so that we can at least fill that gap until we can get full back to with our resources.
Gotcha. So if you're out there viewing this and you're in need of a job, check out COTA. Actually, I
Please.
took I took I did the bike in COTA thing yesterday, coming to work, and I
Great.
think it was a new person that was on a new driver because they had the old veteran there that was talking with them.
Oh,
So
got it.
it's pretty cool. And I had a good experience. It's pretty easy. The doors open up, you go in. I have, I keep change. I have a little change jar, so I just got out, 8 quarters, $2.
Well, let me tell you,
Dropped it in
David,
there.
using the transit app, before I worked for COTA, I used to always have a stack of dollar bills for my emergency bus money because I used to be able to walk to work, and you don't need it anymore. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to call you next week and see if you signed up for it or not. Because
I did actually.
it's
Uh-huh.
really easy, and you don't have to worry about, you can keep that change for I would say the parking meters, but not anymore.
Right, right. Well, actually,
But
I
the
downloaded it while we were.
laundromat or something.
Yeah. While you were talking about it, I actually downloaded it on my phone, so I have it on the phone now.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, tried to do the bike and bus. The rack on the front of the bus. There's a handle. You just squeeze and pull it down, like you
Mhm.
said. Put your bike up there. There's an arm that you just
You
lift over one of the tires,
It's
and that's
really
about it.
easy.
I
Yeah.
have a little basket on my bike, so I took that off, had my helmet and my food in there,
Yeah.
and then just reverse the process when when I left the bus. Now, a question I have is being a cyclist. I take the number 2, so it's a pretty popular route. That's the one that goes down High Street
Mhm.
partially. Um, if there's 2 bikes that are already on there, are you just out of luck? You got to wait, or is there
So
any?
that's at the discretion of the operator, and if the bus is full, you're probably going to have to wait for the next one. In which case, you could probably just hop on your bike and go further, or wait for the next one. Sometimes they might, if there's just 2 cyclists but not a lot of people on there, they might let you bring it on, but it's really up to them and how many people are already on the bus.
Okay, gotcha. And then switching gears, so to speak. So with bus rapid transit, we've heard a lot about
Mhm.
the BRTs. What are and I know we're just about out of time too, but like, what are the plans in terms of the BRTs? Do you already have like the set locations where they're going to be going in, or is it still in the planning process?
Yeah, it's still in the planning process, David, and Link Us, Columbus is a big, uh, that's the project you're describing. And it's not just the BRT corridors, but with that, fixed route improvements, as well as these new on-demand quota plus zones and transit supportive infrastructure and development that goes along with it. So it's a really large project with $8 billion investment by 2050. It's the largest investment ever in Central Ohio to help people get to places, right? So I mean, BRT is a big piece of Linkus, but it's all interrelated. And 2 of the corridors that are underway is East Main and West Broad Street, and Northwest Corridor going toward Bethel, and Phase 2 going toward Dublin. So those are being designed, looked at, planned with a lot of federal process for federal funding too. So a lot is happening in that area as well. Maybe we can share link here for Link Us Columbus. All the information is on the website, but it's like I said in the beginning, it's another probably conversation because we can share so much more information of what's coming with Linkus, with our partners with the City of Columbus, Franklin County, and MORPC.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't follow Link Us on social media, do so because they're pretty active and they have a good following and just lots of really good posts. And just like with COTA, if you're not following COTA on social media, check them out. Now, imagine Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Are you on
And
TikTok yet?
LinkedIn. Yep, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I don't think
Okay,
we're on
gotcha.
TikTok. Oh, it's in fact, it's all on that slide, David, that you have up right now.
Oh, it's right
Yeah.
in front of us. So look at that. Well, that's awesome. So the last question I have, and I know this is probably you could talk for an hour on this, but if businesses are interested in getting their employees bus passes, how do they go about that?
They would, I would start with calling our customer service line at 614-228-1776. But we can get that set up through our customer experience center where they sell our passes and get people signed up for the transit app or for smart cards or any of the discount pass program. I would call and one of the customer service reps might get your information and then follow up with you and get that to the right person. But that's where I would start. And Deviani, I don't know if you have a different answer.
No, that's great, Claire. Yeah, absolutely that way. But in addition to that, we are also looking at very economic development related partnerships. So it's very important that we help our workforce. So we recently went through Short North partnership, and so they're giving their employees and also residents within the district monthly passes that people can use. So we have really good examples of partnerships. We also partner with organizations, institutions like OSU and Columbus State Community College. So there are a lot of different ways that we can partner with you. And again, our goal is to help support workforce. And there are several programs that we are looking at. So starting with CEC would be, or customer center would be first step for sure.
Great. And folks, you learn more about COTA at COTA.com, and it's right there on the slide. Did you read the rest of the slide?
It's okay. I didn't read it. So I just know this is my last slide.
Yeah, but that's just about all the time we have. So really, this is just scratching the surface of what COTA does. So check them out again online. And if you have any questions, contact them. It's not, taking the bus, it's, I find it kind of relaxing, to be honest, because it's like I'm not having to, I commuted by car today, and it's just, traffic is traffic. We've all been in it. Nobody likes it. But when you're in the COTA bus, it gives you an opportunity to do other stuff. So either on your smartphone or read a book, things like that. And you
Do
get to
some
work
now.
and you're not stressed out,
Mhm.
you're not stressed out. So check it out if you're able to take the COTA. And I want to thank Deviani and I want to thank Claire for taking time out of their day for talking to us about this. And then we have another GreenSpot conversation coming up this Friday, which we're going to talk about ComTill, which is city operations that takes some of the biosolids from our wastewater treatment plant
Cool.
and puts it to beneficial use. Where I believe we're the only city in the Midwest that does this. We're actually a leader in the Midwest in terms
Cool.
of properly disposing of or using beneficial use for wastewater biosolids. So, yep. And
Sweet. Sounds
with
fascinating.
that, it is. And so make sure you sign up, Claire. I'll look at
Yeah, I
sending the
should.
link.
I will look. Thank you. Please
Yeah.
send me the
And
link.
and if you're interested in that, just email folks watching. You can email me at greenspot@columbus.gov. And that's going to be, I should say the date, right? Because we are recording. So it is going
Yeah.
to be May 27th, which is a Friday from 12 to 12:45. What could be better lunchtime topic than that? I don't know. But
Wastewater. Lovely.
yeah, well,
Make sure you eat a soup.
the biosolids in the wastewater. So, all right, everybody. I think
Okay.
that's just about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Thanks.